So how do you enhance your features in 5 steps? Well, I'm going to show you exactly how. We're going to break down all the features and I'm going to show you a really, really simple way to enhance each feature. You're going to be pretty surprised at how my face goes from like at the beginning to how it looks at the end. And yeah, you're going to love it. And it's really easy for you guys to follow. Now, before we get into it, don't forget that I do have an online publication called Confessions of a Creative, where I write everything myself. We cover different topics such as fashion, beauty, business, lifestyle, culture. And yeah, I can't wait for you guys to read it. You are going to love it. It's raw, authentic, and I think it's going to, like, a lot of the subjects are going to resonate with you. There are 2 versions of subscribing. One is free, where you get access to occasional posts. The other is paid, but honestly, it just costs a coffee a month and you get access to everything, subscriber benefits and perks. Plus we get a little room where we can chat and I answer questions that you guys ask over here, over there. So make sure you head over and show your support. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. Don't forget I'm over on Instagram too, but let's get into it. This is a very easy and simple video where I'm going to show you how to enhance your features in 5 steps. For this, what I wanted to do is make sure I had a nice blank canvas. So I'm talking about like a base done, not like no makeup. So I've got my base done. All I've got is just my base, no brows, no blush, no bronzer, anything like that. Now I'm going to show you how we can take this to something a bit more sculpted, defined, and just bringing out my features a lot more. At the moment, everything looks very flat. It's not really kind of doing anything for my features. So what I really want to do is show you how you can enhance each feature step by step. Now we're going to start with the first feature, which is the brows. We're going to transform these brows, these sparse brows. So yeah, let's go. Now I don't want my brows to actually be too dark, so I'm going to be using my Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil in 3.5, and this isn't so dark, you know. So I'm going to start by shaping my brows. Now the first thing I'm going to do when it comes to enhancing my brows is shaping them before I start filling them. If you already have your shape more or less kind of like your shape is pretty good anyway and you don't really need to create a new shape, then I would say you need to just fill in wherever you feel like your hair may be a little bit sparse. But I'm going to be showing you how you can shape them. So what I'm going to be doing first is creating a line on the underside of the brow. So I want to basically start with the shape on the underside before we move to the top section. I know about my brows that I need to kind of like fill in from the bottom rather than fill in from the top. The reason being is if I kind of start from the top, I'm making them higher and higher and they don't need to be any higher than they already are. So I really like to focus on shaping from the bottom because then I know I'm reducing the space a little bit. So what I'm going to do is just kind of like draw in a line. I need to hold my mirror up here so I can really see. You want to actually look straight ahead in the mirror, not down, because the shape is going to be distorted otherwise. So I'm just going to do a very kind of like faint line, and what I'm doing is not only am I shaping them, that I'm deciding what my thickness is going to be. So I want my brows to be a little bit thicker, so what I'm doing is applying this line underneath the brow. If I apply it on the hair, then the thickness is kind of like going to stay the same. What I'm doing is deciding as I'm shaping it how thick I want my brows to look. So I'm going a little bit lower, and rather than draw, I'm kind of doing feather strokes because it's just a bit softer. Okay, now we've got to this bit here, which is usually where our arch is, and I'm gonna now take the wing of the brow down. There you go. And I'm just going back wherever I need to adjust the shape. Now that I've got the shape there, what I'm going to do is basically start filling it in. And this is where I'm going to take those feather strokes upwards and just fill in wherever my brow is sparse at the top as well. And I'm just going to draw some hairs in at the front. I'm using my Lime Crime Bushy Brow pen in Baby Brown. Is it Baby Brown? Yeah, Baby Brown. And this is where I like to just draw in some hairs and it just finishes off my brow for me because it looks a bit more natural. So I just kind of like draw them in from the underside because that's where there's like less hair. And it kind of like blends in with the rest of my brow really well. And that is that brow done. So I'm going to move over and just finish the rest of the brow like the other brow, and then we're going to move on to the next feature. So I finished my brows, and as you can see, it shaped my face. So they've definitely been enhanced. Like they're not these thin, sparse things on my face. So I wanted to start with brows first because it honestly goes to show how much it actually does kind of frame your face. Even if you want to go super light with the rest of the features, your brows are nice and shaped and it just generally gives a kind of nicer appearance to the face overall. So let's move on to the next feature. Next, we're going to be enhancing the eyes, and this is a really easy way to enhance your eyes because ultimately we could just put mascara on, but we don't want to just make it as simple as that. We want to also give it a bit of kind of like definition, just define the eyes as well a little bit. Just bring out your eye color, you know, bring out your eye shape as well. Just adjust it a little bit, and it's honestly really easy to do. Now we're going to move on to the eyes, and I'm going to be using the Nude Sticks Magnetic Matte Eye Color in Hot Stone, and this is like a medium brown, so it's a little bit darker than my skin color. And what we're going to be doing is just kind of like bringing out the eye shape and also just kind of like adjusting it a little bit to give it a bit of a lift as well. A nice little smoky wing. So this is kind of like a really easy way to enhance your eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and just apply this on the lash line. I love these pencils because they're really easy to blend. So what I'm going to do is just do like a rough line all the way across my lash line. Right, not too thick, but just kind of like a little bit thicker at the end. Now I'm not taking that wing out too far because I'm going to actually blend it out. And I'm using my Charlotte Tilbury eye smudger brush, and I'm just going to like basically buff this into the lash line. You don't have to kind of go side to side. You can buff it into your lash line to just soften the line. Now here is where I'm going to just flick it upwards. It's going to be a very, very soft finish, as you can see, but what I want to do is like darken that a little bit in a bit. Now what I'm going to do is go into the lower lashes. You've really got to focus on going into the lower lashes and not so much kind of like underneath. And then we're going to get our brush, and now we're going to go back and forth into the lower lashes. You can close your eye for this because honestly it's just about softening it. Can you see already how we've defined that eye and we've only applied like a very light color? Now that we've done that, that's kind of like our base color. I'm going to go ahead and do that onto the other side. So I'm just kind of like doing like lining my upper lashes, or my upper lash line, sorry. And then just a little flick there at the end. Take this into the lash line with the brush and then flick upwards with, you know, the end. You can always use your finger if you want. Okay, now we're going to go into the lower lashes. So this is not below, this is into the lower lashes. And then back and forth with the brush into the lower lashes. Because it's such a light color, you don't have to worry about it looking too dark there. There you go. Now what we're going to do is go in with a darker shade. I'm using the shade G Baby, same pencil like Nude Sticks pencil. Now we're going to go into the lash line. So now you're really focusing. And what I'm doing is I'm not actually drawing all the way across. I'm doing little dots. I'm just pressing into the upper lashes, into the root. Don't worry about a flick or anything. We're going to get that brush. Now we're going to kind of like go into the lash line. And it's basically adding that definition, you know, with that dark shade. Also take it up on the edges. Now if you want, you can do a little dot at the end and then use your brush to just bring that flick kind of upwards a little bit. It's a very soft upwards flick. That's giving it a little bit more definition, so it's not like just a light brown. Now we're going to do the same here. Just basically press the pencil in like little dots into the lash line. Use your brush to go into the lash line and then lift at the end. I feel like that's actually enough of a lift there. Now what we're going to do is curl our lashes, and by doing this it's actually going to make your mascara look so much better. So I'm just using my Kevyn Aucoin lash curlers. It honestly makes such a big difference. I'm going to use my current favourite mascara, which is the Maybelline Sky High mascara. Great mascara. And, you know, it's an affordable mascara too, in comparison to like all the really high-end mascaras. This is actually better than most luxury mascaras. It's so good. We're just going to add a little bit to the lower lashes. I think that's another good thing about this mascara is the brush is kind of like thin enough to be able to use on the lower lashes too. Now moving on to the next feature, we're going to be sculpting the face. This is where we're going to be actually like changing the shape of the face, bringing out things like the cheekbone, like defining the jawline, and we're going to do that with a bronzer. Now I prefer using a bronzer over a contour powder. I just feel like the colors are better. I can choose, you know, a color which is going to complement my skin tone much better than what is currently available from brands in terms of contouring powders. So I'm going to be using a bronzer, plus I feel like I'm minimizing the number of layers because I'm using a bronzer which is going to give me a little bit of warmth but also help to just kind of like define certain areas too. I'm going to use my Fenty Sunstalker bronzer in Island Ting, and I'm going to use my Fenty 200 brush because we're going to do the nose first. So what I'm going to be doing here is very flat at the moment. There's no shape other than the obvious shape, but what we're going to be doing is really kind of helping to sharpen the nose a little bit, make the tip look a little bit smaller. So I'm using the tip of my brush here, and I'm basically going along the side of the bridge of the nose, and you can see my hand staying in the same place, but it's just the brush moving. And it's just down the bridge, side of the bridge. Same on the other side. Making sure that kind of like is symmetrical or parallel. And we're now going to do a little V the end of the nose, and then I just like to cut it off there at the tip. Now we have more shape there. I'm going to get my veil brush from Hourglass, and now I'm going to use the same bronzer and start to kind of like sculpt the face. So I'm going to go from the top of the ear, and I like there to be more product here, and then it gradually kind of lightens as we go in. See how we're getting more kind of like shape here now? And you can actually see the cheekbone because it's been sculpted a bit more. Whereas on this side, you can see, you can't see that. There you go. This is a way to enhance your facial features such as the cheekbone. I like to just add a little bit here because it just helps to lift the area. And then I go underneath the jawline because that's going to help to sharpen the jawline. There you go. Look at the difference. I mean, if you look at this side, we've got that really nice kind of sculpting. There's some warmth there. Here, there's nothing. It's completely flat. So this is how we've enhanced our cheekbones and the general kind of like the larger surface area of the face. So we're going to go ahead and do the same here. Now we've done the sculpting on the face. I want to add a little bit of color, and this is going to help to kind of like enhance the skin color as opposed to the shape. So we've done the bronzer, and that's helped to kind of like shape the face, so it enhances the shape of the face. Now we're going to add a little bit of blush, and it's the same kind of area that we're working on, similar area, so it stays within this kind of like step. And we're going to add a little bit of kind of color so that we've just got that nice flush of color enhancing the skin color. I'm using my Sigma F12 brush and my Dior Rosy Glow blush in Berry, and I'm just adding a bit of this to the tops of the cheekbone. As you can see, I have nothing on my lips, and we're going to be enhancing lips now. So I'm going to be shaping my lips, and this is where you can kind of use your lip pencil to adjust the shape, either make them bigger, or you can kind of like even out your lip line. So for example, if one side of the hump is slightly lower than the other, you can lift that by adding more of this lip pencil to the top part of it so that it balances out the whole lip. So this is your way of enhancing the lips. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of like apply a little bit in the middle there, and I'm going on my lip line, and I like to feather in. I like the center of the lip to be higher than like the rest of the lip. I like the rest of the lip line to be on my actual lip, if anything, like literally just on it, not any higher at all. And then the middle bit, I like to just take it up a notch just so that it kind of like makes my lips look a little bit bigger that way. And the same here, I go kind of like on the underside of my lip line. But then I go on my actual lip line on the edges, because it doesn't look nice when you go over the lip line on the edges of the lips. Now at this point, I really just use my finger to soften the lip line a little bit so it's not so obvious and it just looks like my actual lip. And you can add some more if you want, but that's how I like to line my lips. And I feel what that does is it is enhancing my lip line. I've adjusted it wherever I felt like I needed to adjust it. And now we're going to add a little bit of lipstick. I'm going to use the shade Pillow Talk. And I am just filling my lips with it. And then I use my lip brush. This is my Charlotte Tilbury lip brush. And I take the lipstick to the lip line so that it's all nicely kind of like mixed in together. And there we've done the lips. So we've really enhanced the lips. They definitely don't look like they were before. Now the next way to enhance your face and the last step is your glow. This is really gonna like add some, it just adds a bit of dimension to the face. So we've got the sculpting, we've got everything on, but what we wanna do is kind of like add a little bit of depth there. So what we're gonna do is add a really nice liquid glow. I'm using my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless filter, and the shade that I'm using is number 5, and I apply just a little bit on the back of my hand there. I'm going to use a back of a sponge and buff it into the sponge, and then I'm just going to touch the peaks of the cheekbones. And this is always my last step to enhance the face. Can you see that that's like adding a really subtle glow? I prefer this over like a powder highlight because I feel like it's a lot more natural and it doesn't actually look like I've got chunks of glitter anywhere. So that basically is how I enhance my face in 5 steps. So 5 different features where we're enhancing it and bringing out the best of our features. I really do hope you've enjoyed this. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. Until the next video, take care and I'll see you soon.